You guys wouldn't believe how this guy in Philadelphia got scammed. It's insane what these scammers would do. Let me share with you the video, guys. That way you can learn from this. I'm also going to give you guys my comments and my thoughts about this situation because it's getting really, really ugly. And at the same time, guys, please take the time to leave a comment, hit the like, and subscribe. Let's get straight to it.
This is, hundreds of pages.
You almost have to see it
Every word.
to believe it. Covering Ed Hayduck's dining table are documents and documents from the scams he says cost him thousands.
You're going to see here how much they're willing to invest their time until they know there's no more money, and how, honestly, I fell into it.
He fell into it last August. It started as a wrong number text, but instead of ignoring it, they started talking. And after about a week, that's when Ed says the woman asked if he wanted to invest in cryptocurrency.
Now, this scam is really common. It is extremely common. How many of you guys out there have seen that text message saying, hey, John, you want to play golf? Or they're asking these random questions. To you and I, we look at that, we're like, well, duh, we're not that person, delete, ignore. But to some people right now, they're really lonely and they're really vulnerable and they respond back. Some people are just kind and they respond back. We all have those parents, guys, that we know responds back to every single message. And we're like, what are you doing? Do not respond, delete. But unfortunately, guys, these messages are making it to people who are extremely vulnerable. And I've seen this happen. And I've heard stories plenty of times where you talk to someone, either through a dating app or whatnot. And what happens is they start whining and dining you. It's called pig butchering, which is they're feeding you and feeding you and feeding you, fattening you up, and then they go for the kill, which is usually, hey, I got this cryptocurrency account. I could teach you how to use cryptocurrency, or I need help financially, or do you need help financially yourself? I can help you with your investments. There's so many ways, guys, that they're taking advantage of people, and it's really sad. It's really sad because it's effective. You saw that guy he had pages all over his table of the documentations. These people are not going to give up. Once they know they got you, they're going to continue and continue, and they're really good at what they're doing. Horrible people, horrible people.
It was all just friendly, and it seemed real. And it seemed like, well, all right, I don't have my money invested in anything to earn real money. So, all right, let's give it a try. And then the money went up quickly.
Ed transferred $50,000 over several weeks. The scammers showed him statements that looked real, with balances that kept growing on a site he thought was legit, until one day, it all just disappeared.
I heard of that scam. I've heard of that scam, and it just shows you as well, guys, that these scams are really sophisticated. Because if any one of us would see a site and looks legit, then you would think it is legit. But I heard of that scam. And the way this scam works, in case you guys are not familiar with it, is this. Usually someone will get you, hey, I'm going to show you want to invest in crypto or into any type of investments. As you see, in his case, it was really vulnerable because so many people out there do not save and invest. And when they get to later stages in life, they recognize that they're trying to catch up. So they really, really are willing to do whatever it takes. In his case, that's how they got him. So what happens was, they set up an investment account. They tell you log on to this app that looks like Coinbase or any type of cryptocurrency exchange. It looks just like it. You sign up to it, and it's a fake site, obviously, and it's showing you a statement how much money you're making. Now, I don't know if this is the case with him, but in the case of the person that discovered that he'd been through this, it was a story on some type of podcast. I forgot the name of the podcast, but it was on a podcast, and what he was stating was, when he actually then asked to take his money out, they said his account was frozen. He couldn't take his money out. It was locked up. It was frozen. And it was due to irregularities between transactions, which to him was just ridiculous. He just wanted his money back. So then they followed up saying, well, in order for you to open this account, we need some type of a deposit to make sure you're not doing a fraudulent activity. He put another deposit in. And when it's all said and done, they just left with his money. He lost all his money. So you see, it looks really legit. It is so many legit sites out there that are getting some of these people because let's be quite honest. If you're someone right now in your 50s and your 60s and you never saved, you never invested, when you start getting worried about, your future, and you're hearing everyone talking about cryptocurrency and how everyone's becoming a crypto millionaire, how everyone's making money off crypto, you then say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try it. Thinking is like, for example, investing in Bank of America or some type of institution that has a large establishment, or something you're used to. Like you used to putting money into a bank, you're used to that type of method. Cryptocurrency is a completely different type of method that people are not used to. So you're trusting whoever's telling you this information is accurate. And that's where they get you so good, because you have no other way of verifying whether this is legit or not, right? Majority of your friends, unless you're into the cryptocurrency world, a majority of friends will say, listen, I never invested in crypto. I don't know how that works, right? Some people invest in crypto, but through an ETF, but they never went to a crypto exchange, to actually make the purchases of crypto. So that's why this really works, because the lack of knowledge is out there, right? And already, if you're lacking the knowledge and you're old and you're vulnerable, they're going to get you. And it's just a recipe of disaster. And I see it time and time again. So anyone out there, please, any of your parents, have this conversation with them. Really, let them know. Anybody calls you or anybody friends you on Facebook or whatever the case may be, they need to let you know, because there's people out there willing to take advantage of them.
I can't even describe it. You're alone.
Wiring money, the FTC warns, is like sending cash, nearly impossible to get back or trace who took it, which is why wire transfer schemes are becoming increasingly common and costly. In Pennsylvania, law enforcement and legislative leaders say when people come in requesting to move these unusually large amounts, banks could and should be doing more to spot and stop them from happening.
I do agree that banks should do a lot more to try to stop this. Right? If there's a wire, ask some questions, especially if it's a wire that you're not used to seeing, or you're seeing them wire money to an account they never did before. They should have something in the system to stop it. They do a pretty good job with debit cards, right? And especially credit cards. They do a good job at catching it. But when it comes to a wire, you would think that is the most riskiest transaction out of all of them. Because even me, myself, I don't know how you guys feel, but when someone asks me to Zelle money, I'm like, okay, I'm only going to send you $1. Make sure you receive it. There's so many things I do because I'm always getting worried through that whole transfer process that I'm sending money incorrectly to a wrong account. Because I know if I make that mistake and send it to a wrong account, that's it. I can't get my money back. And a wire, especially a wire with that amount, is something that you just have to be extremely cautious about, right? You should always think twice before you start sending wires to people, because once it's out of your account, that's it. That is it. Once it's out of your account, that is it. And that's a scary, unfortunate thing about it, is people are losing the little life savings that they have just because of these scams. It's just really effective, and it's really sad to see, especially him. Like he said, I'm lonely, like he's there by himself and he has no one to have this conversation with. And that's why videos like this, right? And hopefully you speaking to your parents or to your friends and letting people know, hey, listen, this scam is legit. So be really, really careful, because they are really legit. They know what they're doing, and you got to be really, really careful. These guys are experts at what they do, and they're going to try to just lure you in by taking your money.
Ed also shared with me, too, that he joined a dating site shortly after this initial scam. He wound up matching with someone who turned out to be a romance scammer. He wire transferred around another $20,000. And again, what we highlighted here is it goes to show that money, then you're not going to get it back with these wire transfers. And there's very little protection that, say, like you have with credit card transactions, with these wire fraud transactions.
And often you get put on a list.
Yeah, see, those dating apps, man. I've heard so many horror stories about dating apps. I'm probably gonna do a video about that. It might be in my next video, because there's a lot of financial scams happening right now on dating apps, and there's so many people looking for love or companionship, something, and they're dealing with it. They're dealing with so many people out there basically just trying to scam them, either financially or some other ways, but they're always trying to get scammed. And man, poor guy, after all of that, he fell for another scam. Man, that really sucks, man. That really sucks. And I didn't react to this part of the video, but I did see later on, when I watched the video after the fact, that he is still continuously receiving emails from the same people who scammed him. And all he wants to do is for it to stop. That's it. He just wants that line of communication to stop, and he can't. Because it's like what the guy just recently said. You know, once they know you're vulnerable, once they know you basically been scammed, you are now going to be a target continuously. So even if you educate yourself and you find out, wow, I got scammed, you never want to do it again, now you got to deal with the annoyance of someone continually hitting you up. But guys, if you know anyone who got scammed, share the story down in the comment. That way we can educate some people out there. That way they don't fall for the same trap. Whew, this really sucks. Catch you guys in my next video. Peace.